Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and expands our base, which, of course, is our goal. A lot of news, a lot of discussion because of the impact of the election. Let's begin with the United States Senate. A major struggle is taking place for who the Republican leader in the Senate will be. Will it be John Cronin? Will it be Senator Thune? Will it be Senator Scott? Nobody knows for sure. Donald Trump evidently is not weighing in, but many of the MAGA people are supporting Senator Scott. And we'll have to see how that turns out. Remember, the majority leader of the United States Senate has tremendous power, and how that power is exerted is going to be critical. This is an important moment for the Senate as well on another level. Donald Trump has asked that his appointees be given recess appointments. That is to say, that they will not have to go through formal Senate confirmation. Let's be clear. Once upon a time, the Senate would have said absolutely not. But all three potential Republican leaders in the Senate are saying, we'll go along with Donald Trump. It shows the power of the new administration, the power of Donald Trump, who evidently will control not only the executive branch, the United States Senate, and it appears very likely the House of Representatives. A clean sweep. We know that President Trump has already named Stephen Miller to be his deputy chief of staff at the White House. Remember Stephen Miller's famous words, "America is for Americans, and Americans only." This is going to be a whole new approach to governing. And indeed, it appears that the Trump administration will move forward with the idea of mass deportations. Some people thought it highly unlikely, but as Donald Trump structures his administration, that seems to be the move. What will it mean? Who will go? What will the costs be? I was intrigued that one key figure in the administration said that if children are here illegally, they will have to go, and so will their parents. We're not going to separate families, he said. We are going to keep them together outside of the United States. Another question was raised because of what is happening in the Middle East. Marco Rubio seems set to be Secretary of State, and Mike Waltz will be National Security Advisor. Let's be crystal clear. These are pro-Israel advocates, and there is no doubt that the Trump administration is going to take a markedly pro-Israel view. Now, let me be clear about that. It means that it will have huge implications, and let me explain why. Right now, Saudi Arabia is aligning itself not with the United States, but with Iran. As you may know, the foreign minister and crown prince of Saudi Arabia are both speaking favorably of supporting Iran in the Middle East struggle. What that may mean will be that Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. It is clear that Donald Trump is saying, you want to go after them? Be my guest. This is going to be a fascinating moment for America, for Israel, and for the Middle East. There is no doubt that there are those who would like to see Joe Biden resign and let Kamala Harris become president for the balance of his term. I think that's highly unlikely. The reason? The last thing Joe Biden wants to be in history is identified with Richard Nixon, the only president of the United States to resign from office. Also, there's a matter of ego. I think Joe Biden will stay until January 20th. And you may note that tomorrow, Wednesday, there will be a real transition in the White House. Unlike Donald Trump, who did not invite Joe Biden to the White House, Joe Biden has invited Donald Trump, and they will meet tomorrow. That meeting will be of historic importance because it hopefully will ensure a smooth transition of power. And that is, of course, what Joe Biden is committed to. These are real questions that we confront as a nation. Another great question, what will happen to Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI? Clearly not very favorable to Donald Trump. It appears to me that Donald Trump will fire Chris Wray as he fired a previous FBI director. It is clear that Donald Trump is intending to make his way with a people around him who are pro-Trump, people who have supported him. people who remain loyal to him, people who believe in his approach to governance. So there are a lot of new developments, a lot of things going on, and it's going to be a fascinating time. Now, the question becomes, what about the Democrats? Well, they're going to have to reorganize, but they're at a real disadvantage. Hakeem Jeffries, who would have been Speaker had the Democrats taken the House, said today that when they can support Donald Trump, they will, and when they will oppose him, they will do so, and they will do so vigorously. So what we're going to see is a loyal opposition from the Democrats and a real shift in power. There are some who say they are very concerned about this new direction. No doubt about it, those who oppose Donald Trump and his policies are going to be concerned. Those who support him are going to be thrilled. And remember, Donald Trump now has his hands on the lever of power in the executive, the legislative, and some would suggest in the Supreme Court. Make no mistake, now that the Republicans have a majority in the United States Senate, judicial nominees of Donald Trump's will float right through, and that would include the Supreme Court. We have interesting days ahead, and no matter whether you voted for Harris or Trump, the simple truth is on January 20th, there will be a transition of power, and that transition of power will have tremendous implications for the United States, frankly, for generations to come. So we wait expectantly as Donald Trump continues to fill those legislative and those executive decisions that are going to be so critical. One other quick point that I think is essential. We are waiting now to see who Donald Trump will name as Attorney General. The Attorney General of the United States is critical to Donald Trump. By the way, it's interesting to note that a judge today will make a decision about whether Donald Trump is criminally liable in a critical case in New York. We'll have to wait and see. Boy, oh boy. When they say we live in interesting times, they sure mean it. And we'll be watching every day and reporting right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman. Thanks for tuning into another episode of this podcast. Make sure to follow along. Let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow. Around the Political World with John Rothman will come to you every single day as we evaluate what in the world is happening in this administration. My deep appreciation to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this program. And remember, you can give feedback to us by going to LinkedIn or to Facebook. I am John Rothman. Thanks again, Gogo Zoger. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman.